elections will be held in Virginia. Some political pundits consider the outcome, especially the race for governor, to be an indicator of how people may vote in next year's midterms. But now state Democrats are making political headlines for a different reason. They have begun the process of trying to redraw the state's congressional districts that could swing as many as 3 House seats from Republicans to Democrats. Joining me now is Dr. Karen Hult, a political science professor at Virginia Tech. Professor Hult, thanks for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
How unusual is it for one party to try to make these changes in what some are calling a rushed manner before an election?
It's quite unusual for this to happen anywhere in the United States, but certainly in Virginia, this is something that's not happened before. We tend to do redistricting, as most other states have historically, after every decennial census, but rarely in between. And so for Virginia to suddenly move into extending the current special session in the legislature to take up redistricting, a potential redistricting reform, is indeed unusual.
What are the challenges Democrats face?
Well, a variety of challenges, including, for example, as you noted, it's right before the U.S. state or the state elections in the state of Virginia. We only have 8 days to go until the elections. But in order to amend the state constitution in Virginia, it has to happen in 2 legislative sessions with a vote in between. And so what the Virginia Democrats are attempting to do is to propose an amendment to the Constitution that would allow the option for Virginia to decide to go into mid-decade redistricting if other states around Virginia engage in similar kinds of actions going into the 2026 midterm elections. Very difficult to do, especially on a quite short time period.
And with these kind of maneuvers, how do you think Virginians will react to the idea of redrawing districts?
It seems to me in many ways at the moment what the Democrats may be doing is pulling defeat out of the jaws of victory, at least for their gubernatorial candidate. That is, it does seem rushed, to be sure. It is also taking place after many people have already cast ballots in the state of Virginia, and it looks to many as though it's being done as a clearly partisan-focused move, aimed not at what goes on in Virginia, but rather aimed at President Trump and the congressional races in 2026.
Now, it seems like many states now are trying to wring out just about every possible seat in favor of the party that has control. What are the long-term implications?
That's a great question. What we're seeing now is what looks like almost an arms race between the states, started by Republican state legislatures at President Trump's insistence, or at least strong advice, to begin to do the mid-decade redistricting in hopes of picking up a Republican seat here and a Republican seat there. What the Democrats then are doing in states like California, on the ballot in California next week, as also in Indiana and other states going forward now, is trying to do the same on the Democratic side. What difference does that make in the long run? I think what it does do is highlight the partisan divide that there is across the United States, and also reinforce people's sense that there is something broken about a politics where people can't decide to work together, maybe solve a budget crisis, a stalemate in the nation's capital, as well as all kinds of other difficulties across the United States.
So with so many states going at this, do you think it will be a difference maker when it comes to the midterms?
I do not. I think it could make a marginal benefit in at least some states some of the times. But the current U.S. House is so closely, it doesn't take a shift of very many seats to make much of a difference. We also don't know what's going to happen by 2026 elections. Things have moved so fast and so furiously already since January of 2025. Many things could happen between now and then. And so we don't know what's likely to happen in terms of support for Republicans or support for Democrats.
That is absolutely true. These past 10 months have been jam-packed with a lot of news. Dr. Karen Hult, political science professor at Virginia Tech, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
We'll be right back.